This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know
Everything else is good. Oh boy. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the OnlyFriends podcast. We got a poppin' show today. Conrad's ready to get it off and popping right now. Lot to talk about. He's so...
I just look over and he's completely stone-faced.
Yeah, he's just so lounged. He doesn't give a shit. Also, shout out to all the new members out there. I don't like the way that you're using the pirate logo and stinks. Okay, I want to acknowledge that right now. Yes, they do stink, but yes, they are also my beloved team, so maybe back the fuck off. How about that?
All I know is Brian's about to win a fucking bet.
Yeah.
Through the fucking Pirates.
He is. They can stink all you want, but if you know, you know. We got a big show today, so just to briefly go through the run of show, there is a lot of announcements and news to talk about, including LeBron James buying a pickleball team. I can't wait to dive into that one. There's a murderer on the loose in Las Vegas. Should be interesting to get into. And we have Hellmuth calling me out on Twitter, saying that he's ready to bang with the big boys, gonna buy him for all the money, and we're gonna get down to business sometime next month, as well as we're gonna cover all the happenings on Hustler Live last night with Ivey making his return. To get this thing started, first of all, where the fuck is everybody?
Oh man,
I don't know.
Just Melissa, Conrad, me. We're the loyalists, huh? We just show up.
Yeah.
Well, we can't do that to the Tortoise.
No, the Tortoise is here.
He's always here.
He is here in spirit.
He is always here.
He will also be here in his physical form at some point.
Yes.
I'm gonna throw a little shade at Landon.
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
I'm gonna throw a little shade at him.
Going on a hike.
Look, I'm gonna throw a little shade at him, not because I think it's inexcusable that he's going on the hike or anything along those lines, but I'm gonna throw a little shade at him because he went out of his way to have a very stern conversation in the group chat, and I was proud of him for it. I was like, good. That's good. You're invested in this business. You show up to this podcast. You should take a little bit of a stern tone with your peers here. But then he shows up this morning and at 8:30 a.m. decides, I'm going on a hike today, guys. I can't fucking be here.
Yep.
Did the same thing yesterday.
After doing the same thing yesterday, and he's about to leave for a month.
Yesterday I knew about. And I think he told us in the chat. So yesterday I think was fine, even though the hike also...
He didn't leave the house until we left.
No, he didn't leave the house at all. He didn't leave the house at all. He got rugged on the hike. He didn't even get the hike in yesterday, which is unfortunate, especially because I think I saw that one coming. But today, I'm sure this was short notice type thing. Like, hey, we should hike a little bit before we go on a 225-mile excursion across the great London area, I guess. I don't even know. 225 miles, I feel like you could hike most of Europe in that amount of space, right?
Sounds like a lot.
Seems like...
like from London to Iran or something? Just hiking to Iran.
We're so American, man. We just don't know anything about geography. No, it does seem like it's going to be a tough endeavor. What's their plan? 10 days, 225 miles?
Is it? That's so many miles per day.
No, yeah, that's a marathon a day.
That's insane.
I have to be wrong, right?
Yeah, there's no way.
No, he said some days it's going to be different.
Unless they're biking or something.
No, he said some days it's going to be longer, some days it's going to be shorter. It's not like...
It's not a long period of time, though. It's like, it's no more than 2 weeks for sure. Yes. So, like, at most, it's like 15 days for 200 plus miles?
I think it's 10 days.
I mean, that'd be wild. You'd be hiking a marathon every day. This kid got blisters from fucking wearing my dress shoes the other day. He's so soft. He was trying to explain to me how... I don't know how this turned into dumping on Landon. I apologize, young man, but show
this is
up.
What happens,
show
though,
up. You gotta show up. So I dressed him obviously for his big day out, head to toe, fucking wearing all my attire, including my shoes. And we have the same size shoe. He's stolen all of my fucking footwear up until this point. But these dress shoes that I have that he took, they're firm. That's like the best way I can describe it. They're leather and they aren't really all that broken in. I've only had them for a few months. But what's very clear is that where we have the same size length in feet, I have bigger feet. Like my feet are wide and his are very narrow, right? So he wears these shoes and we're walking yesterday. Mind you, he's in slides while we go on a mile long walk with the dogs. I'm like, you're wearing sandals? He goes, yeah, I did it yesterday. I go, you're going to regret that. You're going to have a blister on the top of your foot. He goes, oh, I already have them. And he shows me his pinky toes.
Ew.
And I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, that's from wearing those shoes that you let me borrow. And I'm like, how? He goes, I think it's because my feet are more narrow. And I'm like, hold on. So let me get this straight. We have the same size feet, and my feet are wider, and I don't get blisters from the shoes, but your more narrow feet somehow do. And I think he just got frazzled. He's like, I don't know how it fucking works, man.
Well, maybe there's like extra room in there.
I don't know. I mean, there's a chance that like his feet may be slightly longer than mine, or actually he might just have like an obscenely large pinky toe. That could be a thing, I guess.
Did it look large to you?
I couldn't turn away from the blister. It was gross. It was like the size of a nickel.
Oh, so gross.
You gotta get your shit taken care of.
Where that came from.
Yeah, I mean, imagine what 225 miles is gonna look like.
It looks like from here to Bakersfield, California, to be exact.
That's
hopefully
far.
Like his hiking boots or whatever are broken in already. I have a feeling they're not.
Well, so that's the other thing. He bought hiking shoes,
right?
Which are specified to hike in, and he like just wore them to pickleball the other day. Or maybe it was to the gym. I don't remember. But like, someone needs to let him know that like when you buy specific things for specific activities, they're not
for those activities.
Yeah, they're not just like, cross trainers.
Right.
I don't think he gets it. Like I only wear my pickleball shoes to pickleball because they're actual tennis shoes.
Right.
But the young man, he's all about versatility, I guess.
I think sometimes that he was born on Mars.
I could see it. I could see it. Hey, we'd be better off if that's the Martian race that we're going to encounter.
Yeah.
He's a very lovely young man. All right, getting into the shits a little bit. We have our Poker Out Loud show that comes out every single Monday, as you guys are all aware. As a bit of a tease for next week's episode, what I want to do is I want to start putting out these little quizzes each week, taken from a spot from Poker Out Loud, and kind of have you, the audience, decide what's best to moving forward. So in this particular spot, it's Schwan opens low jack. I defend the big blind. The SPR is very large. We're 200 effective. Flop goes check by me, bet 60% by Schwan. I call, turn is the queen of hearts. So now the SPR is 9. And our question to you is, how often do I have a leading range versus checking? So what I put up there are the checking frequencies. So how often do I check as the big blind? A, 0%, B, 33%, C, 66%, D, 100%. If you guys want to leave a comment below, let me know how often I should be checking out of the big blind. I'd appreciate it. And tune in next Monday to see how the hand actually played out in real time. I'll let you know right now, I made a fucking mistake. So with my actual hand, I'm going to tell you right now that I made a big boo-boo. That may be a little clue. Boo-boo like Landon's pinky toe even, a little Band-Aid on there.
Yeah.
You know what he likes to do when he, I keep bringing this back. When he gets these open wounds, he likes to take new skin.
Yeah, he loves putting it on there.
Have you ever fucked with new skin?
Yeah, it hurts.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I tore my hands up rock climbing a couple weeks ago, and I needed to go to the gym. And I was like, okay, well, I did this in college. Just get some new skin or some glue, and you go. I forgot the pain of an open wound and like just basically sticking glue in it.
Yeah, I know. I used to always pick it off too, which was like obviously made it worse.
Yeah, that's not what you're looking for.
No.
Yeah, you're trying to build those callus up,
What exactly is new skin?
Liquid bandage.
Yeah.
It hardens.
It's a brand of liquid bandage, but it's basically like super glue. Not in the sticky sense, but in the it creates like a false layer of skin for you.
Sort of plasticky type layer.
Good description. Basically, it puts a callus on your hand where you haven't developed one yet.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah, this sounds fucking awful.
Yeah, you're soft as fuck. You
got pretty ass fucking hands.
Not like me and Melissa. We're rugged over here,
I actually don't have that. My calluses aren't that bad.
I know.
I mean, they're
Disgusting.
there, but this top is so smooth that it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Mine are actually somewhat smooth, but they're thick. Like, like when they get so thick that you can see kind of like yellow underneath them.
Yeah, that's how mine are. Like
mine are so thick that if I wanted to like remove them physically, like I could like bite into them, just tear them away. I didn't say I was going to. I think I could. Huge shout out to Sean McCormack, the poker boss. You gotta
shout out. Is he in the chat?
No, but he got a raise. I wanna give the man his credit where it belongs.
How do we know it's a raise?
Well, because he went from being the poker room manager of one MGM property to overseeing all poker rooms of all MGM properties.
Oh, I just remembered they are both MGM, so it's within the same establishment, kind of.
Yes. So I think you misread. Did you think he's going to Resorts World?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I thought it was MGM, but I just forgot that they were both MGM.
Yeah, sorry. So it's not the MGM property either, or at least maybe it actually is.
MGM.
No, he's going to MGM Resorts International.
Right, that's the corporate.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So corporate.
Yes.
Okay.
He's taking over like all of the
poker rooms. Correct.
Which included Borgata.
Yes. Which will hopefully mean that East Coast Poker is back. I imagine that we're going to see a resurgence of East Coast MTTs. I was talking to DePaulo about this a few days ago. He was like, yo, bro, I mean, I don't got any fucking experience with this, but you're like, yo, we got to do something. They are dying for MTTs up here in the Northeast. Like, let's fucking rent a bingo hall and just run a 10,000 man event. Like, go click your fucking slot machine, DePaulo, and relax, bro. Like,
he's still
doing it, yeah.
What does he have? Just like a broom pressing button?
I like saw it last night and it was like asleep, be back later. The stream was just on the slot machine.
So what's he go like? He's over 36 hours now?
I don't know, I guess.
I think straight live streaming?
I think he's on 27 hours now. 27 or 28.
I'm excited to talk to him about this because I want to know what the upside is. Because I imagine that there is some, right? Like,
well, it's just like a streamathon thing, like a subathon.
Yeah, but I don't know how that shit works on YouTube, right? Like,
he just gets super chats.
Does he? Okay. I mean, that seems smart.
Yeah.
We should do
a subathon?
We should do a 24-hour podcast.
We can do that, and we can pan from person to person.
Yeah.
We'll just do it in shifts.
Yeah, I like that. Conrad has an 8-hour shift.
What? Oh,
he literally
It'll just be him driving around, like smoking.
he just listens to lo-fi, getting high for 8 hours and laughing. It's just like we have him just watching reels, but nobody in the audience can see what he's watching, right? So they understand like how we deal with him on a regular basis, where he's just laughing. We're like, what is so funny? He's like, don't worry about it.
Something I watched.
I can watch the reels for fucking hours.
We know.
That'll be your section of the subathon.
Yeah, I kind of dig this idea. But yeah, big congratulations to Sean. He's very much earned it. He's been a staple in the poker community for a while. I think that he is one of the first poker room managers that has gone out of his way to be very accessible to the community as a whole. Been very public, always reachable on Twitter. I think that kind of follows in the footsteps of Matt Savage type, who, you know, of all the tournament directors, I would say like him and Paul Campbell are like two of the most accessible, as opposed to like a lot of these other bigger tours where you know who's running them, but if you're not a local at the spot or you know, really high up in the player side, it's unlikely you're going to have access. So I've always appreciated how accessible these guys are. Looking forward to see what he has in store for the MGM properties moving forward. We'll be curious to see how it impacts us locally. Not sure who's going to take over Aria, but that's a big operation to run. You know, they very quickly became first or second, depending on the day of the week, I guess, when it comes to high stakes stuff. And I think that they do pretty well, specifically like with daily tournaments. Yeah, I'm not really in those streets, but when I hear people coming into town to run or to play dailies, it's usually like win an Aria.
If you want me to put you in an Aria daily, I can just ask.
Oh,
you know?
Okay. I mean,
I'll
trying to pay down a tab here, you know.
I was gonna crossbook you with the tab.
That sounds like A real genius idea. Let me crossbook 1,000% on the Aria Daily against Conrad's tab number that I'm currently paying down myself. Where do we come up with this? Lamanna, get here. We need you.
Help.
Tortoise.
I'm getting scammed.
Tortoise is our sanity.
He is indeed. Unfortunate turn of events that we saw yesterday. R.I.P. My man Coolio died. I say my man.
You guys are friends.
No, we were. Coolio was very influential.
Yeah.
He had some. Man, there are so many good songs that he came out with that you were probably too young to have even heard. I'm sure you're familiar with Gangsta's Paradise.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that one. Fantastic Voyage was his first single, which may or may not have come across your radar. Wow, really? Man, that's a shame. It's a great summer song. It really is. Very good summer song. But there was this other one that I think is a lot more obscure that not a lot of people know. And the only reason I know every fucking word to the song, but it was the chorus. It was like this weird accent guy who just kept repeating 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't. It's like the biggest earworm on earth. Like you can't hear it and not just have it buried in your head.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
The song?
1, 2, 3, 4.
No. Get your woman on the floor. Gotta get up to get down. Yeah, I think.
I'm so happy that's what that started.
I imagine it's gotta get up to get down. If I had to guess, but I'm not fully certain. Anyway, very tragic, unfortunate.
How old was he?
49 or 59? 59, I think.
59.
Young.
Yeah, relatively young. It seems as though he was. They said they found no sign of drug paraphernalia or anything like that. There was an emergency, a medical emergency called. They pronounced him dead on the scene, and they're doing a toxicology as well as autopsy now to see the cause of death. But it seems like there was no foul play, at least on initial reporting. So unfortunate. Man, I'm getting to the age now where like people that were a big deal to me in my childhood are all dying.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling.
Yeah, there's weird like milestones. I'm not at that one. Actually, no, there haven't been any deaths really celebrity wise that have shaken me. I think like Britney Spears will be one.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, she's my age. The fuck?
Yeah, but I mean, she's been through a lot.
Sure.
You know?
She's a hard 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. Robin Williams killing himself was like that one rocked me.
Yeah.
Same with Chris Cornell.
Who?
Chris Cornell.
Soundgarden.
He's the lead singer of Soundgarden. It's the suicide stuff, like Chester from Linkin Park too.
Yeah, that one was sad to me. But there haven't been any that like, you know, some people get really, you know, there was such a key part of them growing up, but I haven't had that yet. I'm at the milestone of where everybody I know is getting engaged.
Yeah, married or pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mid-20s. God, it's like a fucking wedding tour.
I'm almost late 20s.
Wait,
I'm going to be 27 in a few days.
Oh, that's true. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, time's really taking me.
I know. It's fast. I'm like, what's going on?
Are we sure that you should be spending your time on a daily podcast talking about poo?
No, I shouldn't. Like the time is getting, you know, it's getting to be crunch time here.
Right, yeah. I think we're going to have to like just fully uplift you out of Vegas altogether.
Yeah, something's gotta happen. Maybe I'll start swiping in different locations around the world.
Yeah, maybe start looking in Philly. They really raise them right there.
Maybe I'll just find someone I went to high school with and just call it a day.
I've seen what you went to high school with. You're doing better now. Don't ever regress.
Yeah, you might be right.
Don't ever regress. Oh, gives me the chills.
Yeah, but it's a bit of me.
Sure. Yeah, you're traveling now. You got a chance to lock up some euro.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Euros.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here.
Get to convert all that Solana to pounds.
I'll be in the UK in December.
Oh yeah, that's right. You do have a gig coming up.
I do.
I forgot about this. Does it overlap with Millions? I think we discussed this.
It ends right before.
Oh, perfect.
But then I might go venture around London.
Ooh. Well, don't forget, we haven't announced it yet. I'm not sure if we can, but we have a thing.
Oh yeah, okay. Then maybe I'll do the London thing beforehand.
Yeah, little tease for all of you out there. We got a little something brewing for the Win Millions. A little something special from the OnlyFriends cast.
Yeah,
we're gonna be getting in there, getting our fingers wet.
Maybe.
Well, I'll be in the mix for sure. That part.
Amen.
That part you can count on. There's a murderer on the loose. Lock your doors.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas, Nevada. I had it sent to me by multiple people. And I have to tell you, it's a little unsettling.
Yep.
Only because it's public. There are plenty of murderers on the loose in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
There are a lot of bodies washing up on Lake Mead Shore that I promise nobody has been put in jail for.
Over a barbed wire fence.
Yeah. So apparently he's in his mid-40s. He was sentenced to life with no parole. I guess he had killed somebody with a pipe bomb. I'm not sure exactly what the details of it were. Okay. Oh, Boyd Fleming saying, I think they caught him. That's good to hear.
Wow.
Streets have been cleaned up. Breaking news. Caught him downtown. So what he used to escape, I guess he had some access to batteries and utilized the battery acid to slowly erode the bars on his window.
Wow.
Escaped out of the window, climbed the barbed wire fence, and got the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah, he's captured.
How does the guard not notice that there's like bars that are slowly
it's probably
looking
tough.
more and more melted by
you probably can't see it.
Yeah, you're probably just like doing it right at the base where it connects to the concrete.
Oh.
It does seem like something right out of a movie though.
Yeah. It's something that's happened
or like a Looney Tunes
over
cartoon.
A very long time. Like they're just working on it like at the night.
That is kind of the thing, right? Like when you're sentenced to life in prison, all of your time is basically dedicated to how am I going to get out. It's a proverbial free roll,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's just like
what are they
day,
gonna do? Kill you?
Yeah, every day you have another cockamamie scheme, and you're like, all right, well, this one's gonna take 180 days to see if I can erode the bars off. Whatever. What else are you gonna do?
World.
Yeah, just like
Well, he should have left the state. I don't know. He got caught downtown apparently.
Yeah. So what are the details of him getting caught?
Go to Mexico or something.
I'm looking. Let's see.
Tijuana can't be that far away. What up, Sean? Real shout out now. He's managed to make it.
There he is.
We already spoke about you. You missed it. You're gonna have to hit rewind, buddy. We're not doing it again. We're not taking requests. Oh no. Hey, great news.
Matt is here.
Tortoise is here.
The tortoise has arrived, and the puppies are not a fan.
They are not.
Apologies again for the dogs. We have another showing today, a second showing.
Yeah.
If you will.
Yep.
We are hopeful that this will be the final showing.
We are very hopeful this will be the final showing.
Welcome, Tortoise.
Tortoise is in the co-pilot seat today.
He's here.
The tortoise has arrived.
The tortoise has arrived. He's here in the flesh.
Wow, look at these fancy headphones I got here.
All right, so you only missed a few things. We talked about the murderer on the loose.
Oh yeah,
he's been captured though.
Well,
he has been.
This guy was taken in
allegedly
without incident. That's all I say about it. But he was taken in without incident. Like if you got out, if you escaped somehow, like don't you want to like run?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
like you just have to try to take off, right?
I mean, yeah.
You gotta try.
This guy just must have a bunch of other plans up his sleeve. He's like, all right, take me back.
Maybe he was making like a diversion.
Wow.
This guy killed somebody with a pipe bomb.
Yeah.
In the Mandalay Bay parking lot?
Yeah, that's the
at a hot dog stand apparently.
Man.
At a hot dog. What did that guy ever fucking do?
Rudy, leave the tortoise alone.
No, that's okay. Rudy and I are best friends.
Yeah, but the problem is you're giving too much attention to Gatsby and Scout. Now Rudy can't handle it.
I see.
He's fine with Scout, but Gatsby, like, I don't know. They're just like two crotchety old men at the nursing home. Stop.
It's really they're grumpy old men. Rudy is Walter Matthau and Gatsby is Jack Lemmon, just minding his own goddamn business, Trying to be normal, and Rudy's got to be.
He knows though. He'll go and stand in front of Rudy, like, oh, I don't know where I am. Like he knows. He knows what he's doing.
Don't you use that voice when talking about my beloved animal.
Oh, I happen to be standing right here, like right in front of Rudy, and he knows Rudy's gonna freak out.
He knows that Rudy is a little bitch. And he's just trying to mark his territory for the entire house. He doesn't
mark his territory. He just stands there and eats hair from the trash.
Honestly, I've been noticing every time Rudy goes outside to piss, Gatsby follows right behind him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He follows right behind him.
He's right on top of it. He's not going to let him take over the yard. No, that stuff gets covered very quick. Good boy, Gatsby. You're a good boy. LeBron James bought his pickleball team. It's official, baby. Pickleball fever is here. Are you guys ready?
I don't really understand pickleball still. Like, why don't you guys just play tennis?
Well, there's a few reasons.
More fun.
Well, yeah, there's a few reasons. One, tennis is a lot more complicated. Two, pickleball is generally played as a double sport, whereas tennis is usually a
doubles tennis.
They do, but it's like geriatric tennis. Like
but
nobody.
That's what pickleball is, isn't it?
Yeah, essentially, yes, it is.
You're dead wrong.
No, it is.
There is a lot more. Well, not a lot more strategy, but the strategy is very different for pickleball. So where in tennis, most of the rallies are played from the baseline, the majority of the rallies in pickleball are played at the net, and it's a means of offensively you're trying to back the other team up. Defensively, you're trying to hold your ground. So a lot of the counterattacks are happening at that was just a thing of beauty, Guapo. Like that was a solid 12-shot rally. Look, see you approach the net.
Oh wow.
Yeah, bang bang, baby. Let's go.
Okay, so it's more just like doubles net play.
Singles plays a lot closer to tennis. Just on a smaller court, obviously with a wiffle ball instead of a tennis ball, but I think what happens is athleticism is far more rewarded in tennis because it's a larger court.
Yeah.
And the ball is
fast.
Yes, you have to be fast. You have to be long,
agile.
You really need more. Like you actually have to have a very specific build for tennis.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to like pivot well and.
Well, you're just not going to see like any 5'10" tennis players very often.
Yeah,
right?
that's fair. Yeah.
In pickleball, height is rewarded, but not nearly as much. So it's a lot more welcoming. It's more of an everyman sport, if you will. But at the highest levels, it's really impressive. You got to catch the wave.
Yeah.
This league that LeBron bought a team in, they're expanding to 16 teams now. They plan on playing $2 million worth of tournaments next year. But by 2030, they hope to reach 80 million new pickleball players. That's a boom, baby.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
We're in on the ground fucking floor.
Well, they're going to start playing in schools.
How do I buy stock?
Solve for pickleball.
Maybe we should like sponsor a pickleball team.
This is the pivot that I've been waiting for. Okay? Yes. We are going to create
a midlife crisis.
We're getting into the pickleball training space, guys.
Yes.
Okay? Now,
I was thinking we should just buy a team or.
Well, if LeBron's buying a team, I feel like we can't afford it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, we'll be like in dodgeball, you know.
Oh, sure. The ragtag crew.
Yeah.
Landon's our pro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Landon, legitimately, though, he has the build to be great.
So you want to be really tall in pickleball.
It just helps.
Well, what the hell am I going to do then?
Yeah, I figure if you had
because like
all the wingspan, right?
Yes, it's the longer wingspan, but the thing is, and this isn't like a slight, but the way that mixed doubles play is that the guy covers like 80% of the court and the girl is always targeted. So, well, because it's just because of physical differences, right? Like, women will just be able to naturally cover less of the court because they have smaller wingspans.
Yeah.
They're
what if it's a really short guy and a tall woman?
It just like doesn't happen at the high level. The guys are usually like somewhere between 6 foot, 6'4".
Okay. Are the women tall?
They trend taller, but one of the best in the world, she's like 15 years old, I think, maybe 16. It's her and her mother play as a duo, and I want to say they're like average height.
Okay.
But she's I think she comes from a tennis
background. I'm more
background.
built for tennis than pickleball.
How would you ever arrive at that?
Because I'm short.
Why would that make you better at tennis? It makes you worse at tennis.
Tennis, normally everybody's like 6.
Yeah, tennis, they're gargantuan.
Really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
I know a lot of short girl tennis players.
Who?
I don't know famous ones. I just know ones that play.
Oh, yeah, they play like 3-0.
Yeah, Venus and Serena.
What?
That's all I know. I mean, they're big.
They probably are on the shorter side, but I bet they're like 5'10".
Yeah, they're at least.
That's not short.
Well, I'm saying of the average female tennis player, I would say they're probably on the shorter
I
side.
know that female tennis players, they don't look that tall.
Yeah, camera angles. It's a big court.
Yeah.
The girl that plays D1 tennis that lives at my gym, I think she's like 5'9", 5'10".
Venus is 6'2".
6'2".
Wow.
Closer to 6'2". Serena's almost 5'10".
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I knew Serena was shorter. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so like Nadal is one of the smaller male players at 6'1".
Oh.
Wow, 6'2".
Okay, so the average female top 10 player is 5'8.5".
Oh, wow. Okay,
Goodness.
so that's basically average height.
Yeah.
For women.
And the average male is 6'2".
Did you say
that is not average
5'8"
height.
is average height for a woman?
It's got to be pretty close, right? 5'7".
It's like 5'5".
Yeah.
Oh, it's that short?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Really? I didn't think there was that big of a discrepancy between, because average male height is what, 5'9"?
You thought it was the same?
No, I thought it was close. I thought it was like 1.5 inches to 2 inches, maybe.
Oh no, I think it's like 5'4", 5'5".
That's what I would think. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew there was a discrepancy. I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was about that wide.
Yeah.
Get the Mary Lamanas of the world bringing the average down.
that is very true. Well, you got the Venus Williams of the world bringing the average up. You know. True. Huge congratulations to Jeremiah Williams. He won his second gold bracelet 2 days ago. This is relevant because Jeremiah just doesn't fucking play tournaments.
Doesn't need to.
And he's a friend of the pod. We're all big fans of Jeremiah. He big grinder on WSOP, won his second online bracelet. I'm confident that someone like Jeremiah at some point in time will rival Hellmuth if WSOP continues to run these big online bracelet schedules. I don't necessarily think he'll get the 16.
Number of bracelets.
I think like there'll be a sweat. I don't think like he'll get the 16, but like if we look at W Coop and Scoop champions, things of that nature, off the top of my head, like there are for sure people that are approaching double digits as far as like wins go, right? I guess I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing that that's very likely to be the case. People have like close to double digit Scoop and W Coop titles, and that's only 20 years.
Right.
So it's like if this continues, and these fields are relatively small here in the early going, kind of like what Hellmuth and Negreanu and Doyle and all those guys had in the early days of live. Okay, Scout. She doesn't agree.
She does not agree.
She said Hellmuth's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Put some respect on that name. Put some respect on that name. The other reason why Jeremiah is very relevant is he's going to be joining Landon for a candid one-on-one interview tomorrow right here on the Solve for Why podcast. Everybody gets the day off. I'm heading to LA to play Live at the Bike. We're playing 2550 plus, I hope.
Do you see this?
I see what's going on. He just wants to check everything out, make sure it's all good. So I won't be in town. Christian comes back on Monday. He also won't be in town. And Landon decided, hey, I want to give my man a little props. I want to do a little friendly sit-down one-on-one with him. So that's going to happen here tomorrow. If you guys plan to be a part of tomorrow's show, we are going to give the members-only chat a try. I feel like that's probably the best setting to do it. It's a one-on-one interview where those two are going to kind of be kicking it.
Yeah.
If the chat's going to engage at all, I want to make it as seamless as possible for Landon, so he's not inundated with hundreds of people. So we're going to turn on tomorrow's chat for memberships only. For any of you guys who are unaware of what that is, anyone you see in the chat with a green name or the white Solve for Why badge next to their name, they are a part of the new membership program. So what that allows you to get is early access to new uploads. We'll be coming out with the OnlyFriend podcast Poker Out Loud season very soon. You guys will get early access to that. Member shoutouts, member only live chats when we have guests on, which will be what we're doing tomorrow. And then we are going to do discount on merch the first of every month. Sometimes we'll do a discount on like software-wide training and things of that nature. So be sure to hit that join now button if you want to be a part of the chat tomorrow, or if you want any of these other perks. 2 more things before we really get into the shits. Zamani won a fucking poker masters yesterday. I mean, we've just gotten to the point now where it's clear.
Yeah.
We need a frog.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, it's abundantly clear to me.
I'm in.
I'm willing to lick a toad for.
I've ingested worse things.
Sure. I mean,
at least it's natural.
Yeah, I think like we don't need to go the whole route of the injections and shit, right? Like we can just lick a toad.
Just an inoculation. Simply an inoculation.
It doesn't sound
so injecting.
Good. You could just wear a shirt, Matt.
That's true.
Oh, interesting.
So maybe what we do.
You should get that shirt.
I think this is Landon's Halloween costume.
That's really funny.
What an incredible shirt, by the way. What an incredible shirt.
What is happening there?
So if we lick this frog's eyes, do you think that we will get the run good?
No, you have to get the blisters and then they put it in there.
Do we though?
It's not an injection.
But
it has to go in your bloodstream.
You have to get the blisters.
Well,
if you lick a poisonous toad, it's going in your bloodstream.
You're gonna have to open a wound somehow.
Did you ever see that Beavis and Butthead?
Put it in your blisters. That'll work.
Did you ever see that Beavis and Butthead where they lick the toad and their eyes get all dilated and they start to hallucinate?
I think that's a different. It might be a different toad.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like an Amazonian one.
That's like the bufo.
Whoa.
Bufotoxin or something.
Oh, you're on your own at this point. I don't know. Sounds right.
Yeah, something like that.
Sure. Bufo,
Bufo,
whatever.
Something.
Whatever it is, whether it's yoga, Taco Bell, or the byproducts of being injected by a shaman, it seems as though
weed pen vape hits every 5 seconds.
Yeah. Mr. Zamani, B team himself, racks up another high roller score. It's always fascinating to me. Zamani is he's a real anomaly to me. I've played with him a bunch.
He's fun.
I love the kid to death as far as being a funny human being and giving action at the table. How he wins is absolutely beyond me. I truly don't know. He's one of my favorite people to play with, not just for the company. But he got heads up versus Jared Jaffe, also another fun player for me to gamble with. He's always a good time at the table. Usually finds a way to throw some needles in there and put some money in a little loose, which we are favorite of.
Man, they were 3-handed with Saliba, and it was kind of like talking shit like to him, and it was just kind of funny. It was just like the live shit talk.
Yeah. The last time I played with Jaffe was in JRB's game. I fucked him so bad. I was buried in this 50-100 game.
I remember that.
And and I defended the big blind with 8-4 of hearts, I think. And the board came 6-5-3 with 2 hearts. And I check raised, obviously. We were like super deep. I think we were playing like 51 and we were like 100K effective. I check raise and he 3-bets me. And I'm just like, the fuck is going on here? And he opened like under the gun ones, like early.
Prepared?
And I'm just like
ace, king
I'm like, this guy's
hearts
just
or
like
something.
rocking it off here with like one pair.
Yeah.
So I call. Turn is like another bad card for his range. It might have been I didn't turn the straight.
Maybe a deuce.
I may have turned like the pair, like the 4 maybe. I can't recall. But no, I don't think that was
6-5-3 deuce. You had 4?
No, because that would give me a straight.
Oh, you had 8-5.
I had 8-4.
8-4.
Yeah, so I might have turned the 4, and he just blasts again, and I'm like, the fuck is going on here? So I call, and then the river's a heart, so I jam, and he like rolls his eyes and gets a count, and he's like, my shove was like for half pot, like call, and I table it, and he's like, you got fucking kidding me? And he shows 7-4 suited, and I'm like, the fuck are you opening that for? And then I'm like, oh, well, I guess it makes sense.
Didn't he get you in PLO though?
Different night, but yeah, he fucked me good. I flopped top set of queens with a gut shot flush draw on like queen 4-3. I had like queen 7-6, with like 7-6 of hearts. It's like queen 4-3 2 hearts.
That's great.
Sounds really good.
Yeah.
I bet small he check raises. I'm like, how am I getting check raised here? Okay,
have?
so I 3-bet and like he just gets it in. And I call and he's like, one time. I was like, okay, fine. And it comes 9-8 black, and I was like, nuts. And he's like, no. And he shows ace jack 10 brick with 2 hearts, and I'm like, the fuck just happened here? So yeah, guys,
gotta find that board pair.
Yeah, private games are good. Just, you can't win, but they're good. The action's great. Like
it is. It's
the
great,
action's
actually.
fantastic. Like, are you being cheated? Probably. Are you being raked to death? Absolutely. Can you actually win? Never. Will you get paid? Almost certainly not. But like, you'll have a
You'll
fucking
get a head
blast.
massage, and you'll probably get a shave.
Yeah, and
So-
you'll have a blast in the process. You'll like a lot of optimism
Yeah.
in those private game streets. What actually comes to fruition is a lot of poorness, but it's a good ride while you can.
Who's optimistic?
Me until I walk away and realize like I was never stood a fucking chance
Right.
in this situation. So yeah, shout out to Jaffe. Congrats on the second place. Very unlucky losing to Zamani there, but you'll have it. Very lucky for Zamani, as he tweeted. He really did get lucky too. He gets it in versus like 29 outs and somehow finds a hold.
And here
That's when
we
you know
go.
you're blessed by the shaman right there.
King 10-9
How do we do
all
it?
diamonds.
I've never seen that flop
Wow.
versus that hand and
Zamani
thought to myself,
flops a
I win
pair.
here half the time.
You see in
Right.
the bottom left
Like
corner.
literally never. I just
He is
okay,
behind.
dealer, get on to the next hand.
Jaffe with the straight draw.
Just figure
along
it out.
with the
That is true,
flush
Conrad.
draw.
I only win in private games when I'm cheating. It's when they run a straight up game that I'm really fucked.
Yeah.
It's true.
You need the
That
odds
is a
stacked
big
against
wing
you.
on the turn.
Yeah, I really need to.
Zamani
I need to be
jumps
on the
up to
lookout for
more than a
things other than
2-1
strategy.
favorite.
Like, oh, I flopped top cent. This guy's putting in a bunch of money.
There's
Can
an
he hold
issue
on
here.
for the win?
That seems fishy. Maybe we play it safe and just peel one off here.
Can Zamani has his first poker go major title.
All right, we got a lot of poker to talk about. First and foremost, I got called out. It appears October 20th on Live at the Bike. Phil Hellmuth is going to live up to his promise.
Save the date.
Here's the fucking problem. This motherfucker, he always has an angle, man. I'm telling you. He stinks. He stinks.
He's got something up his sleeve?
You want to know when October 20th is?
The day after the 19th.
Yeah. You want to know what the 19th is?
What?
Day one of the 5
Day one of the 5 diamonds.
Ah.
Do you think that he did that on purpose?
I don't know. I think he's oblivious to the world around him. But it's like one of 4 events a year that I don't really want to miss.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm going to have to.
You'll miss it for this.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. Well, maybe. I don't
You
know.
could put the tortoise in instead.
Yeah.
That's
He could be your
true.
horse.
Wait, should I go play Hellmuth or should I play the 5 diamond?
Either one. Whichever one you want to do. Sub in tortoise.
Oh, I was 100% thinking of putting him against Hellmuth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That would actually be.
it's like fighting fire with fire.
Yeah, exactly.
That might be good.
Yeah. Let them
Yeah.
both sit 300K deep and see which
It'll
one can
last
set or
like
reset the other one
72
first.
hours.
Yeah.
Right. Whoever has the lowest VPIP wins.
Do they? Do they win?
Yeah. Just wait for it.
So he. Just wait
Let
for
you
it.
idiots like you and Jaffe just blast it off.
That's
I'm just
literally
sitting
what
there
all
waiting.
makes sense.
Yeah. When you
Why would I
idiots
play
just-
other hands if
Yeah.
you guys will just give it to
Just
me?
gonna blast
Open
off,
jams,
and I'm just gonna wait
250
for
big
aces.
blinds with ace
Idiot's
king.
just gonna give me his stack eventually.
Oh man. So far on the call out tour, he's called me out. He's called out Casino Eric. We'll see if this comes to fruition. My fear is that because 5 diamonds in town, there's going to be so much high stakes cash action here that nobody's going to want to go to LA.
Is that what usually happens?
Yeah. I mean, it's so easy to coordinate whenever there's high roller events right before 5 diamond. There's high roller events as postlims as well.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like Bill Klein are going to be in town. All the people that would usually round out a lineup like this are very unlikely to be in LA, as far as I'm guessing anyway. But they did announce also on Hustler that on the 21st, Hellmuth is going to be playing with Chamath and Keating. And Keating is kind of the key person here, right? Like if Keating's willing to go there that Friday, that makes me think that maybe there will be less action here than I'm estimating. I'm unsure. But in any event, the man has come out of hiding. I've been unblocked on Twitter.
Wow.
Nice. I saw that he tagged you, so I was like, he must have unblocked you.
Yeah, he unblocked me.
Who else do you think that he's going to call out?
I don't know. Who else hates on him? Me, Eric? I don't know. Daniel, I guess, maybe. Yeah. Get D-Negs in the mix. D-Negs will never. Yeah,
he's never
missing five diamond. Never. No shot.
He's got shit to do.
No shot. And honestly, don't blame him because it's like, is this a yum yum spot? Absolutely.
Yum yum.
This is yum yum as it gets. Delicious. I mean, we get to feast on a stinky Phil sitting 3,000 big blinds deep.
Yeah.
100 or 1,500 big blinds deep, whatever.
Can we Dawn King this thing up? I mean, can we just like promote this to the
it's hard
end
because
of the world and just really build it up as Berkey versus Hellmuth.
How do we do that?
All this back and forth, blocked on Twitter, calling the guy out, telling him he stinks. Now they're going to be battling.
Right.
I'm telling you, man.
Brian's Don King.
Yeah.
Here's
this is it.
Look, here's how
Battle of the Titans.
Here's how this is going to play out. Okay. He is going to sit super deep and he's going to talk twice as much as he plays. He's going to play very few hands. And that, as a byproduct, that should give him like comfort in feeling very polarized when he does enter hands. Therefore, putting 1,500 big blinds at risk at any one spot.
Just keep making the game bigger.
No. I don't want to do that.
Why?
Because that decreases his stack depth and allows him to play.
Yeah, he'll just jam.
Yeah. No, what I'm going to do.
He's going to have to play hands.
No, what I'm going to do is just keep putting in $100,000 over and over and over again.
That works.
The way Garrett did yesterday to Andy in a spot where he's 4x potting river. Like he's going
5.
Yeah. I'm going to have so many opportunities to bet somewhere between full pot and 10x pot. So many opportunities. And I know how to do that.
But he's just going to fold every time he has the nuts.
Yeah, it's fine. He'll never have the nuts.
What do you mean he'll never have the nuts? You make the nuts sometimes.
No. Not whenever you're 10x potting correctly.
True.
He just won't have the nuts. I'll always just win the pot uncontested. And I'm going to win 125 big blinds the hard way. The very hard way.
But then he might get like tired of it and start doing random stuff, which is
like
good.
flopping a straight and jamming all in for 37x pot.
just open jamming.
He might do some random shit. You're right.
I just like can't get over when he was playing that creator game and kept saying, why would I play more hands? You guys are going to just give it to me. And then just gets dealt ace king and then just open jams 250 picks and everyone just folds like good hands.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When Botez like gave him the speech of like, I'd call someone else, but not you.
Exactly. Like, there was multiple of them that said that.
Like you really cultivated your OMC image here, Phil.
Right.
Great job. You are officially the old man coffee in the room.
If he had just started like doing crazy bluffs after that, would have been sick.
Yeah, except he won't. Like he's gonna play like the fucking Duke from Golden Nugget, just sitting with like thousands and thousands and thousands of big blind, and then like folding sets face up post flop.
How do we get him to up his VPIP? Can you bet him? Would you call him out and say your VPIP's gonna be under 10? And
No.
I bet you that it won't.
No, he doesn't care. What you do is you just punish him for VPipping small. So we make it a 5 blind game with a 2x ante.
That's what I was trying to say.
But it's going to reduce his depth. But fine.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so we play 20 him to play hands.
We play 25, 50, 100, 200, 400.
Yes.
And we make the big blind ante 800.
Yes.
Therefore, you're putting in like 2K every orbit.
Right. And he can just bleed it all away, or he can play hands.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds
Either
great.
way, it's fucked.
I got to tell you, I don't think I'm going to have any control over this structure. But if I do, this is the hell that he's going to have to face.
Yeah.
And as it stands, I don't know who else is playing. I don't know who else will call out.
Doesn't matter.
But yeah, I think it'll be a fun game. I can't wait till Mikey gets in the mix. Like somehow it's going to be just like me, Hellmuth, Manisau, and Eric.
Man,
that's the misfit island I've been adopted onto.
Yeah.
In order to make 1K an hour, I'm going to have to listen to conspiracy theories about COVID. I'm going to have to listen to why Biden is a part of like some Democrat baby eating thing. I'm going to have to listen to how great Phil Hellmuth is for 6 hours. And then I'm going to have to listen to Eric tell him why he's not great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's all worth it.
Did you see Biden give a shout out to
a dead
congresswoman.
Yeah, he's doing great.
Oh, no.
It was just good.
Yeah.
Biden speaks Conrad fluently.
Yeah, he had no idea.
Are you saying that Conrad has dementia?
Wait,
Well,
hold on.
that would explain a lot.
No, because I know everything that goes on.
In your head.
Everything.
Yeah.
Right, in your head.
Like,
Vape pouring out of his mouth as he's saying this.
that just can't be true. Also, we have a CSI.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
This is not a Conrad service announcement.
Mm.
This is a Chin
Oh, shit.
service
Okay.
announcement.
It's a GSA.
He just sent a tweet over from the Round Rock Police saying it's basically a video of one of the guys that they suspect that robbed Yochan.
Oh, wow.
And he is in the lodge. And it looks like he's just like looking at the table, hanging out, because like the live stream table is straight ahead.
Right.
Yep. Sketchy. He looks sketchy.
Yeah. There's another, if you scroll down into the comments, the second thing. Yeah.
Okay, and this is released by the Round Rock Police.
Yes.
Okay, that's very important because I don't want to speculate because I don't want to have Doug fucking DMing me again, breathing down my throat. He like went out of his way to go like, can't believe you said it's 100% an inside job when there's no evidence of it. It's like, obviously I'm using hyperbole, but like logically speaking, this stuff has to be inside stuff. Like
Nobody has to see.
it just
something
has to be.
going
Like
on.
nobody gets robbed in broad daylight and happens to have 30,000 on them. Right, like a guy's obviously being targeted, and in order to be targeted, you need that sort of information. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, it's great that the police are involved, and there's a chance to actually solve this and potentially punish somebody. I don't, again, like going back to this conversation, I don't think that there's anything obvious that the rooms could be doing to prevent this sort of casing from taking place. My suggestions were simply to put protocols in place that make the casing less effective, right? Mm-hmm. Private room being one of them, obviously. People were saying, or people were talking to me privately saying that one of the other issues with having even the box room where you can go in privately and whatnot is that when you cash out, the cashiers will shout for a double.
Yeah.
And it's a smallish type room where everybody in the room can hear that.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're aware that somebody at the cage is getting a number over 3K.
Right.
So like, yeah, they're just like small protocols. Look, I'm not trying to fucking burn the place down or crucify anybody for running a business. It's just there are little small details that as incidents happen, it's kind of easy to then look back in retrospect and say like, oh, we could have done a better job of X, Y, and Z. And I think that that's kind of my issue with all of these Texas rooms and the incidences that have occurred is none of them are coming out and speaking publicly. Now, I'm sure part of that is to protect their own asses, but I do think that there's a level of ownership that is kind of necessary to take where it's like, okay, we could be doing a better job in these 3 or 4 areas, in spite of the fact that we already feel we are doing a good job in these 3 or 4 areas. Moving forward, we'll correct X, Y, and Z, and we will ensure that your security is of our utmost importance here at card room, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's it's hard from their standpoint, I'm sure, because it's like, do we get ahead of this and control the narrative of it and then let people know who maybe like wouldn't have known otherwise and then they might be swayed from coming, or do we just not say anything and hope it blows over?
Well, I think once the police put out a public report that they are in pursuit, or even like once we break it, enough people are going to know that it's probably worthy of. I would imagine that your patrons are going to want a message, right? And not like some private in-house message where you get on the loudspeaker on a random Tuesday.
Right.
Or a newsletter that's like sent to their email, right? Like I would think with how big, like, using Doug here as like kind of the martyr, with how big his platform is, it seems pretty critical to get ahead of it.
Yeah, because I think that the downside of not saying anything and then having it come out another way looks way worse, because then it just looks like you're trying to cover it up.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our exchange, most of it was like, yes, there were some factual things that had changed that I was unaware of, and I corrected those. But the vast majority of like the things that he had griped with were just spin. It was just positive spins, right? Like, oh, we're going to do this, and we have this in place. We're waiting for all of these reasons in order to execute. It's like, okay, well, that's just a spin because it doesn't exist yet, right?
Yeah.
And we can only judge based off of the actual execution taking place. And yeah, I think that there are a lot of very simple things that can be corrected that make it better. But at the end of the day, it will never be foolproof. There's always going to be some risk as a professional poker player playing in any game, whether you're talking about home games, the casino, these strip mall games, whatever the case may be. There will be degrees to which they're dangerous, but there will always be some sort of risk that you're taking, and that kind of comes with the cash in, cash out type of business.
Yeah.
Scary times.
Scary times. People are hurting financially.
Yeah, that's the other thing I think we're a little less aware of because we're privileged enough to not be that impacted
yet. Yeah, it's rough
yet.
out there.
But yeah, somebody, when we were doing that episode, somebody was saying that there were people at like, I don't want to say at Publix because that seems unfair if it's not them, but like at a grocery store parking lot.
Yeah.
Where they had to hire a security guard to walk people out.
Yeah.
Because people were jumping them for groceries.
Yeah, there's crime is, I've been hearing, I don't know, I haven't looked into it, but I think crime is up in a lot of places. I've been hearing from people I know who live in California saying similar things, just like more robberies and stuff happening.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Usually as the economy goes down, that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. It really does put things in perspective whenever we're calling a man-child a baby for sitting with $10,000 in a poker game,
yeah,
wanting him to sit with hundreds of thousands instead, and there are people who are literally like struggling to get their next meal.
Yeah, and our economy is just like getting flushed down the toilet.
Yeah, I try not to be insensitive to that, and I try not to let it wash over me. But at the end of the day, we are a podcast that's kind of centered around the gambling industry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think we're in for a very long 12 to 18 months. And, I'm not a financial advisor or anybody who's even like incredibly sharp there, but like the people that I know that are seem to really be hunkering down.
Yes, that's
especially
what it seems like.
The markets. The markets look like they're down. And then usually what falls after that is unemployment. And right. So it's like right now they're like, are we in a recession? Are we not in a recession? It's like, well, unemployment is still very low, and that's kind of one of the metrics they use. But the main metric, is 2 quarters of negative growth, and that's what we had. So people are like, why are we not saying we're in a recession? It's because unemployment rate is still low and people still have jobs. But if the markets keep tanking and these companies are struggling and not showing profits, then they're going to start laying people off. Yeah. Then it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's do you think that there's a lot more self-employed people now though, too?
I think that's partly true. I also think work from home is getting a lot more popular.
Right.
And
there's more freelance. There's more work from home and self-employed. Like there's just more stuff that people can do on their own now.
Yeah.
I would imagine
gig economies and stuff like that, right?
I would imagine the work from home economy also will help slash costs a little bit for companies. Yeah. So maybe we can stave off the unemployment rate spiking and things of that nature. Like even if it means that kind of like freelance work goes up. Obviously it's tough to say. Like I was talking to my trainer Rob about this the other day, where it's like, in our age bracket, we've lived through, this will be now our 3rd major recession. And every time it occurs, we always think it's worse than the last.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Is it?
It just always feels that way in the moment, right? But it's difficult to say. The financial crisis of 2008.
That was so bad that I think really that's probably bad, right? Why. Like we thought, wow, 2000 was bad, right? When the .com burst, but then 2008 was worse. So, yeah, it's
right. But
people are afraid that it's going to be worse than that time.
Yes, I think it's always projected to be worse. Whether it will or won't, I always think is up for discussion. But to give some proper context, I was your age in the 2008 financial crisis.
Yeah.
And I was a 5'10" grinder. I didn't feel a thing.
Right.
Right. Like 5'10" was completely unimpacted. If
kind
not
of surprising.
Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is, but I think it was like that sweet spot where people who have
high stakes was more impacted.
I would imagine so,
because it's more finance people and
yeah, I would imagine so, just because people who have great wealth will now protect, and people who have no wealth obviously have no access anyway. But people who are in the middle are just trying to move up a step or maintain, and they're willing to take on a lot more risk in a financially dicey time.
Right.
Whereas they may be more conservative when everything is really good. You know, like they may be happy to just grind out 5.5 or 2.5 for a living when everything is really good because they know for sure what their cost of living is. They know for sure what their earn is in that game, yada, yada. But when that uncertainty starts to creep in of like, well, am I going to be able to make enough 6 months from now?
Yeah. Then you just are like,
let's just fire, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just fire.
It's either going to 10x or it's going to go to 0.
Yeah. Like a month and a half ago, whenever, when my house was selling, it's like, okay, I'm going to be really liquid. I want to position myself to like, you know, be in a space to make a lot of moves if we do go through this financial crisis, and I want to be able to plan. So I want to conserve. I want to be like really protective of my liquidity, right?
Wait for the buying opportunities.
Yeah. And then we got catfished, and I was like, okay, well, I got some liquidity. What's the biggest fucking game in the room?
What shitcoin can I put all of this into?
Can I play Hellmuth heads up for my entire net worth? Let's just do it, man. End me already. Fucking put me out of my misery. Send me home. But yeah, so it does have this like kind of crazy effect in the middle. Not looking forward to it, to be quite honest, but mainly because I'm 40 now. I think when you're 26, 27, whatever, you're so resilient.
Yeah.
Like my nephew, you know, he's feeling it, but he's not feeling it because of a recession. He's feeling it because he's 23 and doesn't know what the fuck to do with his life.
That's
right. Like he's like, oh, I didn't get hired at Verizon for a $25 an hour job. I'm like in the dumps,
right?
Because it would have been really easy. It's like, yeah, like who cares? That was a part-time thing anyway.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I know, but like I want money, and I'm like, yeah, everyone does right now, big guy. Like sharpen your axe, develop a skill, because we're all going to be poor for quite some time.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking.
But you know, when there's blood in the streets,
buy real estate. Yeah, that's kind of the scary thing is, you know, this is now the third major financial crisis. So like Brian and I will experience.
Yeah.
And we were 18 in 2000, 26 in 2008. Didn't really have any level of wealth in either situation. Now we're 40, and it's like we've watched that generation ahead of us get wealthy in these times.
Yeah, I'm just
right.
waiting
who were
to
sharp.
buy,
I know
right?
that's like, I feel that way about crypto. I haven't been around long enough to see like the longer cycles of the regular financial stuff, but crypto, it's moved so fast. I've seen the cycles, and I've sidelined the whole time, and you know, seen the ups and downs, and seen people get rich and go broke, and so I feel like, okay, now I'm more familiar with what I would be getting into. Yeah. Finally, after fucking 12 years of being exposed to it.
Crypto's never gone through a recession, so people are a little worried about how it's going to react to it.
Right. I'll be shocked though if like Bitcoin just like went away.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not in the near future.
I mean, hey, send it back down to 100.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I'm in.
Loop it up.
This is the best chat comment I've ever seen. Doug R says, is there a family membership plan? Hey, it's me, Matt, Joseph, and Adam Levine need to know.
Oh my God, guys.
No fighting on the pod.
Please, Rudy.
What is the matter with
Come here,
this
Rudy.
dog? His eyes.
Come here.
His eyes are horrifying. He starts side-eyeing.
He gets activated.
Activated. That's a good way of putting it.
He gets activated.
Okay, let's talk about Hustler Live, as yesterday just about broke poker internet. They had roughly 20,000 concurrent. I watched it start to finish. It was a really good show. Great to see JR run well and play pretty well. He was the big winner at like 330,000, I believe, somewhere in that neighborhood. It was kind of one of those things where it was mentioned a few times throughout the course of the evening, where all of the pros were losing and all the recreationals were winning. So the final tallies were JR won 328, Andy won 83K, so he did end up making a comeback. He was stuck for quite some time. Casino Eric won 82,000. Dustin ended up picking up 60K, and Ryuske was a Ryuske. Yeah, sorry, I was pronouncing it the way Eric was. Oh. He just kept like yelling at him like Ryuske. And every time he did it, they were like, yeah, he's mispronouncing his name. But Ivey and Garrett ended up being the big losers at 192 and 238. A lot of inspired play from what I saw yesterday, more so from Garrett than Ivey. Really, I'm not sure how Ivey even lost so much. He got cooled off a couple times. We have a brief clip of him getting flush over flushed for a pretty sizable pot.
Got a big hand here. Mr. Seven Deuce in there with top pair and a flush draw. Phil Ivey now hits a 7 to go along with a flush draw, but he is in bad shape.
I don't care, but I also don't want to.
Oh!
Yeah, he's going to lose some chips on this river card.
Oh, and the flush gets there.
The question is, will he raise this bet? It's a slight over bet. I don't think he necessarily will raise here, although he's cut.
Oh, he's going to raise.
Snap call for Ryuske.
The flush gets there, a little bit cooler. Ryuske hits the king high flush. Ivey raises. Got a big hand here.
Yeah, I guess if you're gonna get flush over flushed in a 120K pot, you're gonna lose 200K. He had a couple other cool spots. I think he either turned or river trips twice and was against a straight both times. For a couple big ones. Mm-hmm. He did pull off a big bluff. I actually missed that hand though. Didn't really see it, but in general, like just having tuned into most of the show, he just. I don't know. I played with him the 2 days the last time that he came, last October, so it was about a year ago. He just seems so uninterested. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, he does. He seems like he's in the middle of something else.
Yeah,
that's because games in the fucking Macau dungeon are way more fun.
I'm sure, yeah. Well, that's probably why Tom and Phil both look bored out of their minds when they play.
Maybe that's just his Tom also feels the same way.
It's weird because I know both of them to be
Once you go Macau, you know?
Well, that's what's kind of strange to me is I know both of them to be pretty gangster in the way that they play, especially Tom. Tom, like, I know him to be like wildly loose. Mm-hmm. I remember one of the funniest things that came out of Ivey's room when I was in the midst of my downswing. I was playing with Durr a lot. He was getting a lot of invites, and I'm a battler. In those games that we were in, it was like him and I were the only two pros, and everybody else was a wreck. So like I'm V-pipping a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember we're mutually friends with Benefield, and somehow my name came up or whatever, and Durr said to Benefield, he's like, Berkey is the loosest pre-flop player I've ever seen in my life. And I just died at the notion of Durr saying that about anybody. I'm like, wow, man, maybe I got to get this fucking reined in a little bit. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
This might be taking it a little bit too far. But he's gotten tight, at least in his aggressive actions. Tighter in his aggressive actions. Like,
Tom?
Yeah, not even saying that like he doesn't play a lot of hands pre. He still plays pretty loosely pre, like definitely out of construction in a lot of spots. But I notice he's not like the young Durr on high stakes poker where he's always putting people to the test. He's just doing a lot more calling and a lot more like just floating around and I feel the same about Ivey. Like
I know. I kind of noticed that too.
Yeah, the game I played with him, I opened under the gun and he after two callers called ace king suited on the button.
Right.
I'm sure there was a reason. I don't doubt the goat, but
I forget where you heard it. Maybe it was like one of the commentators or someone saying that he felt a bit out of his element in like the hustler cash game specifically.
I heard it in the commentary too.
Yeah.
I wonder why though.
Could it be that different from the other games he's played?
Yeah, it's him, Garrett, Andy, and 5 Rex.
Yeah.
Pretty
standard
gin spot, I would imagine. It's got to be less tough probably even than the Macau games.
I mean, do you think it's part of being on camera, or like do you think the camera has anything to do with it? It's a little odd.
Can't
it looks
even begin,
like sort of like they're held at gunpoint.
I truly can't. Yes, I can't even begin to speculate because like it's easy to say that the stakes are too small for him to care, and possibly that could be true, I guess. But like, they were playing 2-4-8.
Yeah,
you easily could win or lose $500,000 in that game.
Right.
Like pretty easily. Like he lost 200K pretty, not that difficult. Like, he was card dead, but he also didn't play a lot of hands. And again, like he just wasn't aggressive in a lot of nodes. He was like the third flatter yesterday with King 10 suited. Like these aren't spots that Ivey misses. These are just like clear squeezes where he just gets after it. But for whatever reason, it's just like kind of a flick it in. Basically like the way that I would play 1-2 if I was just like forced to be there.
Right. Yeah.
Like where it's just like, I don't care about the outcome. I have to put in my 8 hours.
Yeah.
I'm just going to splash, try to make big hands, and then see what happens. And then ultimately, what obviously happens when you play that way is you just get fucking coolered a bunch.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I finally made a flush. You too? Cool.
Right, because you're just check calling a lot, and you're like, not really taking any aggression.
Yeah,
so.
you're not trying to red line at all. You're just trying to win the blue line war, and the deck fucking hates people who do that.
Yeah.
Unless your name's Phil Hellmuth.
Right.
Bang, bang. Try to fucking out blue line me.
The blue line god.
I'm gonna send that red line through the goddamn roof. There were a few interesting spots though, aside from Ivey being coolered. Garrett played 2 really interesting hands. The first of which was wild. Just wild. Everything about this hand is so insane. It really truly does speak to the beauty of deep stack no limit hold'em, where the rules just get kind of thrown out of the window. So first of all, God bless anybody at home who tries to solve this spot. They're playing 4 blinds. And this hand happens between the small blind, the second blind, and the third blind. Is that right? Is that enough raises? Open through. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, actually, Guapo, just run it. It's the it's the Andy hand.
It's not very often we see Garrett off his game too. I mean, the guy is just a beast, just crushes week after week. But he's human, and Andy, just like last time, just flats with kings. Bets 15,000 in the 57.
Yeah, he's probably going to go small bet, big bet. Maybe he's planning on barreling.
Garrett can't win this pot. If you're wondering why he can't catch running 5s, our graphics take into account folded cards, the dead cards.
All right, just gives up.
Andy checking a 3rd time. Garrett in the tank on this one. And he's reaching for it. All in?
Oh my God.
He just went all in. He just bet 296,000 into a pot of 87. What a spot. Garrett bets $296,000 into 87. Just to refresh how he got here. And he folds.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
So obviously Garrett was going to lose this pot almost always, right? Like to catch up what happened. Went small blind open, Andy 3-bet kings. Garrett finds the cold 4 with king 5 off, which I actually think is like obviously way, way, way out of line and out of construction. But I understand what's going on here dynamic-wise speaking. So the original opener was, help me. Ryuske, yeah.
Ryuske. I don't even know if I'm saying it right.
Well, that's fine. You're doing better than me. So Ryuske opens and Andy 3-bets. Now, Ryuske and Andy are both relatively deep. I think that they are like somewhere in the 200-ish vicinity, which is playing 2-4-8. Oh, they're playing 4 blinds this hand, so it's 1-2-4-8. Sorry. So at that point, like there's still going to be roughly 250 bigs effective. Yeah. Andy being the deeper stack at like 350. And from Garrett's perspective, where he covers both, I think that he sees this as kind of leveraging the money factor type of thing, where if I'm going to have position against the guy who I deem to be the toughest player in the game, and we're both going to be sitting like hundreds and hundreds of blinds effective, I need to apply a lot of pressure in situations where ranges are supposed to be tight, because he has to be more considerate about the equity thresholds for where the money goes all in, more so than I do as the aggressor. Right. So if I put him in a defensive node, it becomes very difficult to bluff catch whenever you're playing pots that are upwards of 1,000 big blinds. Yeah. And it shrivels up one pair, right? And we see this happening in theory if you like are able to actually run these spots. Like kings do a lot less 5 betting whenever you are really 500 big blinds effective. Right. And when that happens, now kings also find themselves in weird leverage situations post where they still don't want to stack off, right? You're kind of counting on the shutdown to some degree where a street gets checked. Like, we need a street to get checked
please,
in order to get these
cap yourself somewhere.
Yes, exactly. Right. So Andy kind of gets fortunate in that regard where it comes Jack 7-7 rainbow and goes check, small bet, call. So I think Garrett bets like third pot or something along those lines, maybe slightly less. Andy calls. Turn is a brick, bringing backdoor diamonds, like the deuce of diamonds, total brick. It goes check, check. Great. We feel pretty fucking good about kings right now. Yeah. Right? On the river now with, I think there's like 80K in the pot. It was a 4X pot shove. Yeah. So roughly 80K, and they're like 300-ish effective, 350 effective, something like that. The river's now the jack of diamonds, double pairing the board and bringing in the flush. Now, this is probably the gin card for Garrett. Any jack really will do, but specifically the jack of diamonds is pretty nice, at least on the surface. Like, if we just take a quick glance at it. Yeah. Reality, it's probably not quite as good as another jack. Right. Right, because like most of your jack X that checks back will be jack X of diamonds exactly, because you don't want to get crammed on whenever you have a pair plus flush draw.
Yeah, it's really like jack 10 maybe checks. But it's like just,
but how much
he's
are you
gonna
for betting
barrel
it?
So much of his jacks there.
Yeah, which he also probably doesn't have anywhere near as many jacks as Andy does, because Andy's the 3-bet caller. Right. That range is just naturally going to be wider than the 4-bet. Like, in truth, there probably shouldn't be a whole lot of 4-betting coming from the linear portion of Garrett's range, but they're so fucking deep, and he actually has position because it's a 4 blind spot.
He could still have queens.
Yeah, yes.
Well, but he probably barrels turn. So
he probably barrels turn, but you know, let's say in theory he would check them back some of the time. Yeah. He's not 4X potting them on the river. Right. Right. So like when we look at the 4X pot, what we recognize is, and where I think that it worked out in Garrett's favor, but maybe he's a little bit overestimating. He had the king of diamonds, and I think that feels relevant because you block Andy's king high flushes, which may call. Yeah. But I'm not so sure that it matters if Andy has kings or a flush when it comes to bluff catching, right? Because all that really matters is having blocking power over the jack. Yeah. Because no flush should jam. Right. Right? Andy just has too much jack X. So since no flush is jamming, the diamond isn't really relevant in blocking flushes, and it kind of anti-blocks the suited jack. So it's a little bit worse. You would prefer that Andy has the king of diamonds, I think. Which also makes Andy's hand a lot better to call with. Yeah, it would give him a better bluff catcher. He has a much better bluff catcher because he actually blocks some king jack suited, which could theoretically, or hypothetically, I guess is a better word, be in Garrett's cold 4-bet range. Yeah, I mean, it just sort of is a really fishy line. Kind of, yeah. Right? But it works. It works because he can leverage so much on the river. Well, it feels fishy because he had king 5 off. And we were able to see that. Yeah. If he had 2 unexposed cards and he 4X potted river, that's fair. That's definitely a thing for sure. Right. And now it would just be a guessing game of like, okay, what are his value hands? Obviously jack X and quads. And then what are his bluffs? And to know what his bluffs are, we have to know how he's constructing pre. Right? He did land at bottom of range. King 5 off is certainly going to be bottom of range. Especially because if he does have any suited connectors, they're more likely to barrel turn. Yeah. So if he has like 8-9, for example, double blocking ace king would mean maybe a better call. You're saying with the kings? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, does ace king bluff here? Maybe with the ace of diamonds. Right, but it should bluff for the flush size. He should have 2 sizes here, right? He should have full pot and then like 4X pot. Right, yeah. And full pot should just be flushes. So like, yeah, he should be bluffing with like some ace highs there. Yeah. To get Andy to fold under pairs, like 10s, 9s, maybe even some queens and kings. But that's the thing is I imagine like kings and queens and aces for Andy become indifferent to some degree at around pot. And that indifference probably doesn't change all that much as you get to 4X pot all in. Yeah.
Obviously.
No, not obviously, right? Because it's a byproduct of how much Jack X you have.
Yeah.
Right. So if Andy has like a ton of Jack X, then it would change a lot between full pot and all in, right? Because you have so much Jack X to call with when you face all in that you don't need to reach to anything else. But if you have almost no Jack X, now all of a sudden flushes and overpairs.
Does though.
He does, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, which is probably what went to his decision to ultimately arrive at a fold.
Yeah.
But he might be overweighting
Like,
how much Jack X he has. Because like he doesn't have ace jack off.
I just don't understand how Garrett arrives at the decision to do that. I guess is my thing.
Well, I think it's that he can't win the pot any other way.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to find calls that aren't Jack X when facing 4X pot.
Like, don't you think you'd want a barrel turn?
I think the 4X pot is more meaningful here. Because one, Jack X isn't always going to barrel turn. So but actually it did play out in a way where like this is the best card in the deck for him.
Yeah.
Because of all the one pair hands that check back, it's going to be like Jack X and minus, right? It's not going to be as much Queen X or Queens and over, right? So like he's not going to like bluff an ace,
right?
For example, and try to rep aces.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Or like, cause like, yeah, jamming an ace, you would be repping ace jack. And like, I don't think that really crams.
Yeah.
Because now when you have ace jack in the spot, you just block calls.
Right.
So much. So like, yeah, you're probably just in that full pot-ish region. And you're happy to call a jam should Andy have like blockers to bluff. I don't know. It's a pretty fascinating spot. Like I don't want to get too deep into it. But I want to get a little bit deeper than the surface level of like, oh, Garrett's just out here fucking punting it off and Andy's the goddamn worst for not finding a call with an overpair. Like, I see the cards, can't they?
I know. It's so much easier when you can see the cards.
Yeah. So like I want to discuss it at a certain level where it's giving credibility to both players because I think that they're both excellent deep stack, no limit hold'em players.
And they have history too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was also something that I kind of mentioned in our chat where it's like, if I had to pigeonhole either one of them into a strategy, I would say that Andy is prone to making hero folds on the end, and Garrett is prone to giving up versus good players.
Yeah.
On the end.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So by that metric, I'm not surprised that Andy found the fold, and even more so against Garrett. Right? And by that metric,
then his jams are printed.
Yeah, it's like almost more of a reason to applaud Garrett for finding that shove.
Yeah.
Now, what I do want to be clear, though, is that he's just absolutely getting mashed on every other fucking river. Because, like, if a diamond comes, he's never going to shove. Maybe he does. Maybe he still shoves on a diamond. I don't know.
Like, what about if, like, what if an ace comes?
I just don't think the 4X pot would really be utilized. Because the problem is it's already a paired board, right?
Maybe
so the
you just block.
Yeah, so like the texture just doesn't change again unless it double pairs.
Yeah.
Sure, a flush card coming in matters, but these ranges should be somewhat tight because it's a 4-bet pot. So usually a flush completing river isn't going to be as polarizing as something else drastic, like the bottom pair turning into trips.
Yeah.
So like if a third 7 came off, like that's a very drastic board changing card.
Right.
Or if like, double pairs the way it did with the jack coming off, something along those lines. But like, yeah, if it comes running deuces, where it's like Jack 7-7 deuce deuce, that doesn't change the fucking texture at all. And it coming running diamonds also like not really that big as far as texture change. So usually what that does is it caps your sizing on the end.
Yeah.
That's not to say he can't just rocket it in there anyway and just force Andy to say like, yo, make the call, man. Here's a size that theoretically is not sound.
Right.
What are you going to do about it? Are you going to trust that I'm literally doing this repping nothing? Or are you going to assume that, like, I somehow rivered a set on the fucking 3 of spades? You know? Like, whatever. I think this is what poker, I don't want to say unhinged. That's the wrong word. Unbridled, if you will.
Unbridled. That's good, yeah.
This is what it looks like without guardrails.
Right.
For better or for worse. It can be very
beautiful without guardrails.
Yes, for better or for worse. It truly is in the eye of the beholder, right? Because somebody like Landon watching that is just like mauled it.
It's so funny. Sometimes when I have the streams on TV or whatever, and he just gets so frustrated watching.
Are you saying that Garrett is not allowed to do that?
Depends on who you're asking permission.
Are they gonna come arrest him?
But maybe Machine does like it. It's a 4-blind, infinite deep game.
The machine can't even play this structure yet.
The machine just blows up when it sees that.
But that's the thing. It's like it depends who you're asking permission to, because as somebody who likes to get in the streets myself, like. Nice fucking job, man.
Right.
Nice fucking job. Had Andy called, I'd be applauding him too, because to me, again, I get to see the cards, but like to me, unless that's my case money, I think that I'm just saying like, fuck you, man. Fuck you. I know what you're trying to do here. You're trying to make me uncomfortable. You're going to have to reload and cover me after this hand. Like,
I'm going to make you uncomfortable by reloading.
Right. But like, call. But if that's my case money, I'm not ashamed to admit that I probably find more folds than I should.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's an argument for being overrolled, or at least properly.
God bless you if you're overrolled for 400, 800.
I know, right? God bless. There's very few people who are.
You're literally Casino Eric. That's it. One thing I've noticed about like getting into the higher stakes is that we all should be capped at about 100, 200-ish type levels and be comfortable there. And none of us are looking to play those stakes. We consider them small. Right. Like when you start to get into good games and they're like, oh yeah, you have this lineup ahead of you. We want to play 1-2. It's just like, how many straddles can I incite while we're in this lineup? It's like, oh, they want to play no straddles. It's like, why are we playing so fucking small, man? Because it's like Hellmuth wants to sit with 300. Like, let's fucking get some money in the mix.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my deed on the table.
Well, they had, I guess DJ Washburn is everyone's saying he's a 2-5 player.
This guy, man, what a fucking hero. His interview was like so
sad.
No, it was heartwarming to me.
Yeah.
It might be sad.
I thought it was heartwarming too. I felt like he was in, relatively speaking, he was in good spirits.
Yeah. It might be sad. It might be sad for like a normal human being who can't fathom that type of money being exchanged. But like as a degen, it was very heartwarming. It's like, oh, this guy learned a really painful lesson.
He's like, sometimes you do shot take. Didn't work out this time. Yeah. But there's always, another time. I'm like, I feel that. It's kind of like, I feel like a lot of times the first time you shot take a certain stake, you just...
Unless you're Christian.
I was going to say it too.
Yeah. Except the first time I played 5-10. That was a good session. But other than that, like, there's been so many shot takes where it just... it was like immediately I have to draw back down and grind back up.
You want to know what it is about Chin is when he shot takes, he's still overruled for the shot that he's taking.
That's the key.
Yeah, it's like you're the richest man in the room. Like your idea of taking a shot is only like emotionally uncomfortable.
Right.
Like it's insane. That case money on the table is a feeling he'll never have, and I am so jealous.
It's not a good feeling.
It's the worst.
It's not a good feeling.
And honestly, like I thought as I got older that would go away, but like it happens in different ways now. It manufactures itself in different ways. So like now you'll like for me personally, I'll find myself in some bigger games where like maybe I have to sell action like 500, 1K, whatever, and I have to sell some action.
Yeah.
And I'm restricted on the number of buy-ins that I have.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe I can only get a hold of like $250,000. So I have like 2.5 buy-ins. Well, I obviously have more money than this. I have reserves, but they aren't available to me right now. So now I'm operating on a 2.5 buy-in roll. And it's on the fucking table.
Yeah, and you want to stay in the game.
Yeah, and you get that sensation wash over you again of like, God damn it, this is case money. I can't make a loose call here. Like, I have to go home.
Right.
No one wants to go home.
No.
I need a course on doing the walk of shame.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I've done. Like, I've had to do it. It's nuts.
How do you get on a stream? Yeah, actually, you can speak to this.
I can.
You get on a stream game. You have to leave after 2 hours.
Yeah, it's awkward.
This was your first experience with Poker After Dark, right?
Yeah, it wasn't live streamed though. I'm actually really glad it wasn't live streamed.
That is nice.
And not many people saw it. But
what ended up happening?
It was like well, first I misclicked min 3-bet Emma, who opened under the gun, but I thought she was straddling, so I min 3-bet her on the button, thinking I was opening the button into a straddle.
Sure.
But I wasn't. So I played the hand as if I was. So I lost. That was like a 6K pot. And then there was another hand where this was actually just not good by me. I think I just didn't understand the multi-way aspect well enough, where I flopped top pair on like ace 4 deuce versus I think it was like hijack call button call, and then I c-bet call big blind raises, I have like such a stupid stack behind. I have like 1,800 behind or something, and there's like 3 over,
right, so it's like one of those spots where it's like when you jam you feel like you're dead, but when you call,
and then I jammed and it was less than pot, and then like fucking Richardson got mad at me and he's like, now I'm all fucked up because like I can only call instead of, he can't like raise all in versus the big blind. So then he has to like just call because I don't have like enough to go full. so then he's mad at me and he's saying, just take this so you can go all in, like trying to give me chips so I can actually like fill the pot.
He works
so
all the fucking angles, man.
Yeah, and he's getting all mad, and then it ends up being, the big blind had a set of 4s. Nick Wright had a set of 4s.
Oh,
so
no.
I was like, and actually, and Ellie Lesro and I were sweating the run out together, and I had ace 10, and the 10 came on the river, and I was like, and he's like, you won. He slips over the 4s.
Well, Alan
had a flush draw.
Oh, okay. So you caught him at bottom. That's fucking nice. Well, why would he want to go all in? This other guy's a set. He should be thanking you.
He was so mad at me.
Unbelievable.
And I was like, stop. Stop being mean to her.
Give me a buy-in back. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I know exactly what that feeling looks like, where it's like if you were just deeper or had a full buy-in in front of you, like you never go broke in this spot.
Yeah, like if I had a more behind, I would have definitely not gone.
It's when you start playing cash game like a tournament. It feels bad, man. It feels real bad.
It wasn't good.
I've had a couple good experiences with that though, where like I was more disciplined in spots than I otherwise would be because it was like case money and it worked out in my favor. It actually happened on Live at the Bike not that long ago where I had taken like 150 and fucking Limitless just got me in a pot where he check raised 6 deuce on a ace jack deuce board.
I remember that.
Or sorry, an ace jack 6 board. In the terms of deuce, and he just clips me for a huge pot and leaves me a 40K behind, and I'm in for the full 150. I'm like, oh my god, this is miserable.
Ace king or something, right?
Yeah. I'm like, man, this is so miserable. Like I just lost a 300K pot, yada yada yada. How am I ever going to get back? But I was like, okay, what? Like this is it. I have 40K. I have to grind, and 40K was still 200 big blinds.
Yeah, that's
So I just played normal. I played strong, and we played a lot off stream, and I ended up winning like 30,000 for the session. It's just like, oh man, I really have to cement this in my mind.
Yeah.
Because my urge to put another 100 on the table, as opposed to just like taking what I had, which is still 200 fucking blinds, and just earning my win rate and trying to get back the hard way.
Right.
It's so lazy, and you feel so defeated whenever, even from that 40K, I got clipped down to like 25 or something like that before spinning it. I cooled off my man Bill a little bit. Bill Klein, which unlucky, but we needed it, man. you did good by me.
He'll be all right. I think something tells me he'll be okay.
You did fine. I'll spread it out, I promise. I'll do my best. There was one other good game. There was one other interesting hand that I think kind of displays what Eric Persson brings to these lineups. There was a river decision between Persson and G-Man. I don't know if it was a single raise or 3-bet pot. It doesn't really matter, but basically the pot was pretty bloated on the end. And Persson makes a 60K bet, I believe, into an 80K pot, where he has the nut straight with 8-7. Garrett had the lead in the hand the whole way with ace-queen and is kind of put to a decision. And what happens is Persson offers Garrett the ability to see one card for $6,000. And Garrett takes him up on it.
Wow.
He then spends the rest of his time banks. So this is actually like a 5-minute tank. We're just going to show like the last minute of it where Persson starts talking.
2 sevens? I already said you thought I had 2 queens.
I'm just saying 2 sevens are the nuts right now. There's what's going to win this hand.
How are 2 sevens going to win this hand?
You're going to fold.
You know I have 2 queens.
You're going to fucking fold. And then I'm going to show the sevens. And in 3 hours, everyone's going to be like, whoa. You know what? It's better to live like a man than die on your knees. You know what I'm saying?
It's fun to watch the computer work.
Can you beat 4s?
No, I don't have a pair.
Oh! Breathe it easy. Ryuske's not calling.
Garrett does not have a read on him.
This is great theater.
That'd be sick. Fucking diamond over diamond makes this call. That would definitely be you too.
He's disgusted.
I don't want that. Can I increase my bet?
10 seconds.
He's using all his time chips with ace high.
Call.
Oh, he makes the call!
Wow.
He made the call!
Wow.
He gets the fist bump from Garrett.
61-3.
It was like watching a glitch
just
in the
for the
Matrix.
record,
Like he looked like
I
he
don't
was
wanna-
short-circuiting in that
Yeah.
spot. It's unlucky because had he picked the 8 of spades, I think that he's a little bit more likely to fold. But picking the 7 diamonds just looks like the nut bluff card. It is a little tricky though because you only have ace high. It would be way different if you had queens. Like queens, you pick the 7 of diamonds. You're like, okay, obviously there's plenty of bluffs here. Like there's pair plus 7 that he'll just turn into a bluff. I call. But when you pick the 7 of diamonds and you have no pair, you're basically counting on him having exactly ace 7 of diamonds.
Yeah.
So like you're literally trying to pick off one bluff combo.
Yeah.
And like there are gonna be times that you call.
Great.
There are gonna be times that you call there and he's gonna have like 2 7s or 7-6 or 7-5.
The key to what fucking Persons did was say, "You have the ace of diamonds,"
Yeah.
and that was like
That's smart,
That
yeah.
moment, it was just
Yeah.
kind of-
Yeah.
I
at
almost
that
feel like
moment.
it's telling that he was having so much joy in the situation.
Yeah, that's
But
it. That's
you
it.
know,
I feel like he also has joy when he doesn't have it here.
He legit lives for this.
Yeah,
I feel like he
li-
talks a little more when he hasn't. He's more.
I mean, people that do this
boisterous.
live for these moments. Like this is like the fucking best feeling
This
in the
is.
world.
I know.
when
This
you're-
is my goal. I hope to be able to do that. To
It
Carlos.
is
I will
so
say
much
this
fun.
about his speech play yesterday. He was like 100% with it. Like he talked Ryuske out of like 2 calls where he was fucking dead, and Ryuske folded like top pair, and then he like talks Garrett into a fucking call with ace high on a board texture where like you're just losing to almost all of his bluffs.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Like with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 combinations of hands. It was very fascinating to watch. It was also, I love Garrett and I love like watching the streams where he just dominates and you know really works his craft, and honestly even like seeing the 4x pot shove with the king 5, it's like that's one of those stand up moments. Like that's legitimately one of those things where like when you're doing commentary and something like that happens, it becomes the game. Like that
Right.
that is the moment, right? It's that thing that happens in sports where the commentators have permission to just be overly emotional
Yeah.
in a spot. So it's like I'm a fan first and foremost when it comes to that stuff. And like if I were on the mics, like I would be out of my chair. Just what
Like
the
that Joe
fuck?
Rogan clip where he's
they're all like, yeah. That's a great example of it. Yes. So it's like, you know, that you already know when that hand happens, it's going to be the topic of conversation for the next 30 minutes in the chat and between you and your commentator and everything else. So like you have every right to just like lose it, right?
Yeah.
And I would have. Like Rudy,
Rudy just lost
on
it,
command, just loses it. But there's also something very interesting to me as a viewer to see Garrett put into spots that he usually puts other people in.
Yeah.
He's usually the one talking on the river, right? Like he's usually the one trying to iron out his thoughts out loud, maybe pick up a tell on somebody, maybe flip a weighted coin in his head based on, I wish.
Everyone likes to
I've
see
never
someone get
considered
a taste of their own medicine every once in a while.
I don't even know that it's, I wanted him to see him get a taste of it as in like the negative outcome, but more so I just wanted to see him in the blender.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. I don't mean him losing or anything like that. I mean him like being uncomfortable, being in a spot where he puts other people in.
Yeah,
It's nice to
exactly.
see.
I think that like had he made a correct fold there, I would find the hand that interesting as well.
Right, of course. Yeah.
Just like the way that he kind of got scrambled in that spot.
He got played like a fiddle.
Okay.
He got played
Speak your truth, Conrad.
like a
you know,
fiddle.
let him
You
know.
when Eric said, "Do you have the ace of diamonds?" It was just that moment. It was that moment of.
I don't know that would have made me call faster.
Get him in the booth already.
I feel like that would. I feel like that would have made me fold though, because it doesn't imply that he has the ace of diamonds.
But it could it definitely puts the thought in the head.
I mean, but you specifically have to have him have the ace of diamonds with the 7. Like, there's almost no other bluff combo.
But like, what hands does he really have here? Like, he has 8-7, but he has 8-7 is probably like a large percentage of the hand. Like,
No, he's just bluffing with other pair plus 7. because 8-7's the nuts. So like his bluffs are going to come from 7x.
7-6, yeah.
Yeah, so 7-6, 7-5. Like even if you give him like wild hands, yeah, I guess you beat like 9-7. I don't think there was a 9 on the board.
No.
Maybe like 10-7. There are more combos. I don't want to reduce this down to like Garrett tried to call and pick off exactly one bluff, but it is one of those things where it's just like you lose to a lot of pairs. Like Eric's sharp enough to have pocket 7s here and think that he can get a hand like 10s or whatever to fold.
Yeah.
And
not good when you lose to a lot of bluffs.
Yeah, I've been in that spot a lot. We talked about it where like you arrive on the river and you have this gut sensation that you're about to get bluffed.
Yes.
And then you start saying to yourself, okay, logically speaking, where is this bluffs coming from and which of them do I lose to? And then you start to name all the bluffs and you're like, well, I lose to that.
Right.
But I beat a 7
there's the
of
one
diamonds.
card that just gets literally every single bluff gets there.
Yes, right. And then like you just convince yourself like, okay, well, I found one combination of hands that I beat. Maybe there's like a branch of 4 or 5 others off of that.
When you have to think that deeply into it.
We're so fucked up as human beings. Because if I could deprogram
it's the sunken cost thing, isn't it, in that moment, or no?
I think it's so desperately wanting to be right.
Yeah.
More so, and also the fear of being like wrong when instinctually you knew.
Right.
Right? Like instinctually you knew, but
you
then you
didn't
get
follow your instincts, and then they show you like 3 deuce offs.
Exactly. You get the confirmation bias now of like, fuck, I knew and I didn't trust myself.
Yeah.
Forgetting all the times that like you quote unquote knew and just got tabled the nuts.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, we suck at this like as people, but man, is it fun to watch the party unfold. Yeah. Great show overall. I did think it was super fascinating. Ivey's not the draw, but like, man, he gets the fucking eyeballs there, which is great. I think it brings the best out of everybody else. I thought JR and all the recreationals really came to play, which is always fun, right? Like when they're willing to be in the mix, like that
they're
clip
not scared. I love Ryuske so much. He's like
Conrad.
He's laughing. His laugh is so genuine. He's like so literally just joyous about everything.
He must be so rich.
Has to be so rich.
Taco was saying like after the streams, like he'll just go play 2-5 if he wants to still play.
Yeah, he's Bob Bright in Japanese form.
He's fucking great.
He like got bluffed. He's just laughing. They're both chumming it up and laughing.
Yeah, fist pounds all around. Like God bless, man.
He's so great.
I love this Japanese culture that's getting brought to the high stakes arena. Minus the one incident, but like outside of that, I hope that this continues down.
Yeah.
Down
well,
the
he's
road.
still I
Is he?
Timon. I follow him on Twitter. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him. I mean, outside of the whole trying to pay people back or whatever. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been fun. We got another big episode tonight. Phil Ivey's back,
and then Robbie will be on that one, which is a new woman in the Friday game.
Yeah.
Setup or the Thursday game.
It looks like she's ready to really jump
battle.
into high stakes. Yeah. She had a. I didn't get to watch the whole performance. Was it last Friday she played?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see a couple highlight hands. I think she bluffed someone.
She did bluff someone.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was against.
Garrett.
I think it was Garrett too.
It was Garrett.
Yeah. I think so too. Yeah, and he was talking to her on the river.
Yeah.
And she pulled one over on him. So that's always good. It's good for the fucking game, man.
Yeah.
You know, give one up every now and again. Matter of fact, next time you and I are in a river spot, let it go, buddy. Just let it go. Let it go.
What are you talking about? He has quads.
Let it go.
It's you.
Let it go. It truly is, man. I got to see a pre-taped Live at the Bike that we had played together. This must have been like 4 months ago that we played it, and it just came out like a couple weeks ago. And I got to watch it, and there was a hand that had been bothering me where I had kings with the king of hearts. And what happened was I opened, Garrett 3-bet, Eric Hicks cold called the big blind. I cold 4, or I 4-bet, Garrett calls, Eric calls. And it comes like 9 high, all hearts.
You have ace king?
I have kings with the king of hearts.
Kings.
Checks me, I bet, Garrett raises. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? How?
Like, what do you just have 9?
And in my, I didn't even think of 9s. That never even crossed my mind. This is how much trauma I have from playing Garrett. In my mind, he has ace jack of hearts, and I'm peeling fucking dead. Yeah. My mind immediately jumped to, I knew I shouldn't have c-bet here. It's like 9, 4, 3, 2 heart, or all hearts rather. I've red kings, and my mind immediately goes to, why did you put any fucking money in this pot?
Yeah.
You know he flopped the nuts.
Yeah.
What are you doing? So So he raises, Eric folds ace queen offsuit or something like that. I call. Turn is the ace of spades. And I just immediately have already like triggered in my head. I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm out of this pot. Like, you win, man.
Yeah.
And then it goes check, check. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't even know what to root for anymore. I'm like, does he have ace queen with
Like,
the ace of
do I want
hearts?
the ace of hearts or do I?
Well, no, I definitely
not?
want the ace of hearts. It's
Yeah.
it's an unpaired board. Like, that's the one card in the deck that I know I want.
Right. Well, it would pair the ace.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So, like, still at this point,
Still, you only want the
not
ace
even
of
crossing my
hearts.
mind.
Yeah.
He only has flushes and ace X with the ace of hearts, and I'm just stone dead. So I'm like calling for a black king,
Right.
which ironically would have been good because the river then paired the 7. I check, and he jams, and I'm just like, fuck you. Just fuck you. Like, I fold, and I'm like running the line through my head. I'm like, what on earth takes this raise check back line? Like, he flopped the nuts and wanted Eric out somehow, and then is like trapping me on the turn because the ace is bad card. Like, what is happening? What is this hand? And then I finally get to see, and it's 9s.
Yep.
And somehow after folding,
Wow.
yeah, you're on it.
Yeah.
God.
But the irony is, with my thought process being that he had the nuts the whole way through the fucking hand.
Yeah.
After folding, immediately my head went to I got bluffed.
Yeah.
I 100% got bluffed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100
Whatever thing is
right?
most painful is what your head will go
Yeah.
to.
So for months, I'm mulling over like how he
'Cause
found
you
a
didn't see
fucking
it
bluff
for
in this spot.
months.
Yeah. Like, how did this guy find a bluff? No, of course he just had the fucking nuts because
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
me. Like, what else would he have?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I have PTSD from the imposition raises in like 3 and 4 bet pots. Just it's like you have a set.
Yeah.
And I've
Yeah,
paid
it's
it off too many times, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, I think it's just a set.
Yeah, of course. Of course. And it's like, I don't know why I rolled out 9. Like, I was thinking, like, optimistically. Here's the other thing I had myself convinced of. When the turn ace came and he checked back, I go, fuck, he has aces with the ace of hearts.
Yeah.
Like, he has top set now with the nut flush draw. I'm stone fucking dead. They're going to put the 2 hearts on the river, and he's going to jam, and I'm going to go home.
Top set aces would be so weird there.
I know. I know. But
Trauma
like,
does things to your brain.
it's bro. And the funniest part is like, I'm actually, like, as of late anyway, I've run far less poorly versus Garrett, or at least I've gotten away when I do. So in this spot, I run somewhat bad, but like I lost minimally. And still, I still have this sensation of I'm going to lose my biggest pots when Garrett's in the game.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of big pots when Garrett's in the game.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But what it usually is that I try really hard to bluff him, and sometimes it works. But when I have value hands, I try really hard to get stacked.
Okay.
And that always works.
Yeah.
Always.
My better value?
Always. I mean, it's like my mission that when I have a really strong hand,
Yeah.
how can I make sure Garrett stacks me?
Right.
Like, if it means slow playing so that he sucks out, I'll do it. Anything for the viewers at home.
Yeah.
I don't want this guy
kind
to
of
fall
you.
off his throne. Like, come on, let's keep the man in his place, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
But
He
yeah,
appreciates that.
I'm sure he's just loving this whole trauma bond with the audience and how Garrett has gotten the best of me in a handful of pots. I got to keep the allure alive, man. I stink. Get me in these lineups. I fucking stink. Hellmuth stinks.
You're in.
You're in now.
We're all going to be playing for houses
Playing
soon.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
You're
you're
playing for
in. So you know what you should do is like, these are
Win, perhaps?
well,
Yeah.
that's
too
not
much.
important.
Not too much.
The important thing is that you get invited back.
Okay.
So
Sure.
you need to have a mental breakdown on stream.
I just did.
No, on stream.
On
You
stream.
need to
Yeah, on
have a
stream.
breakdown. You need
Yeah.
to lose it.
Right,
Because
right.
then people will be like, oh, get that crazy bald guy back. Wild.
I mean, some guy at the table last night, he was saying, he's like, man, I got to find somebody, a whale to bring to this 10, 25, 50
Yeah.
game. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to ask Berkey if he wants to play.
Okay. Let's go.
There you go.
Now we're back in the streets, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not above it. I am not above it. I will be someone's well at 10, 25, 50. I'm fine with that. If ever I have an unhinged moment, it will be the Hellmuth stream for
Okay.
sure. Because
Just like lose it on film
Just
or
like-
something.
I'm gonna have no choice. If he's talking more than he's playing, like I'm gonna have no
he
choice.
always is
Just
talking
yell at
about
him and
his
rub your
leg.
nipples like you did on that
No,
video.
there will no more nipple rubbing. Live at the bike, get the audio sorted, baby. You're not going to have commentators for this one. It's just going to be me and Phil all day in the cage.
It was very funny watching him, and as I was standing during that stream with Ling Ling, and it was so funny watching them talk back to each other. Like he would just
Ling Ling's the
complain after she like wins the pot, and she's just like, aren't you a professional? You should stop complaining. He's like, you know me. I complain about anything. And she's like, well, you should probably stop then if you know you do it.
Yeah, she's the absolute best.
I feel
such
like
a
that's
fan.
Joanne if Joanne were to talk.
Yes, absolutely.
If you know you're doing that, why don't you stop? He's like, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, Mama Joe would be in there cracking the whip a little bit for sure. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Tomorrow it's going to be just Landon and Jeremiah. They're going to have a nice little sit down. Again, tomorrow is going to be members only chat. So if you guys are not yet a part of the membership, go ahead and click that join button so that you can get in there. Ask Jeremiah anything that you want. Ask Landon anything about his process.
Send your bad beats in.
Yeah, send your bad beats in. As you guys may know, Jeremiah was kind of Landon's first mentor, I guess. So they're the same age, so I guess it's difficult to call it that way. But Jeremiah had a big part in Landon's upcoming. So I'm excited to see that interview tomorrow. I'm also excited to get back to LA, do a little gambling myself.
Yeah.
We'll be tuning into Hustler tonight. I'm sure that those two will have a lot to talk about tomorrow. Until Monday for me and the rest of the squad, we're signing off, and we'll see you then.
Later.
Peace.